Councilmember Benavides, please.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of quick things. This coming Saturday, a couple of things that I wanted to bring up to the public's attention and invite folks to attend. A lot of great things going on in the city of Santa Ana. One, I want to invite folks to come out. Over the last few years, I've had the first Saturday of the month my community office hours. And I invite folks to come out to chat with me, bring whatever ideas that you have, whatever comments you have. They could be in favor of anything that we're doing. And I welcome those that have comments that are opposed to anything that the city might be doing. I think we're better by having more comments, and I'm okay with getting people who don't agree with my point of view. I learned from those, so I thank you for coming out. That's at the Southwest Senior Center at Jerome Park, McFadden Center. I welcome you to join me for that. El Centro Cultural de Mexico, a great nonprofit, is having an open house here at Broadway and 5th Street. They do fabulous work providing art classes and bringing diversity and teaching our community about our Mexican culture. And I welcome and encourage folks to attend that. That's at 5th and Broadway in the 2nd floor. That's this coming Saturday, 7 to 10. Our Artist Village is having its open house this coming Saturday as well, first Saturday of the month. And one of the great things, fabulous things about the city of Santa Ana is our diversity, is the fact that we have El Centro Cultural de Mexico at 5th and Broadway, where we're teaching our young people about the roots of Mexican culture and Mexican influence. And then we have the Artist Village, where we have folks that are not necessarily Latinos, not necessarily Mexicans, that can also come and express their culture and their roots and their background, and we can bring that together. And that's, I think, one of the wonderful things that Santa Ana has, one of the great things that is expressed in our downtown. And I want to make sure to communicate to the community that I stand behind that I want to bring unity. I want our city to be better together. And with regard to the comments, I do want to thank the speakers who did come and speak and to bring clarification to the comments that have been made with regard to the wonderful Independence Day celebration, and acknowledging our country's freedom, the history of our nation here again in the city of Santa Ana, intended to bring our community together. And on the day of the event, it did. There were some distortions that were conveyed by way of video, by way of other comments from other public speakers, and sad to say, by members of this own council. And that was very disappointing. One of the things I do agree with Councilman Tinajero, as he mentioned that if you you willingly support people with a negative point of view, that essentially what you're doing is you're endorsing that. And there is an individual who was mentioning that has been declared a member of a hate group apparently. That person was appointed to a commission, not by me, but by someone else. That person there was a motion that was made to appoint that individual. And the person who supported and endorsed and made that appointment in that motion years ago when that individual was appointed was Councilwoman Alvarez. So apparently, based on the comment that if you then support that, that if you endorse and support and make that nomination and make that appointment, then you're endorsing that person's point of view. So if that's in fact the case, I think we need to question whether that whether we should really hold to that comment. Again, I think from this going forward, I appreciate the folks who did come and speak, but the main theme that was mentioned is clearing up facts and bringing our community together. So I would hope that we would be able to do that. I would hope that we would be able to take to heart the comments that were made by members of the council, asking the city manager to work with the community, work with the residents, to have a city-sponsored 4th of July event. And I definitely would look forward to that. And that's where we're really hoping we'll be able to get past this and work together and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor Pulido. I too would like to clarify some things, and thank you, Councilmember Benavides, for clarifying that. I do want to clarify that, in fact, 2 weeks before that presentation was made, Councilmember Benavides was asked by his colleagues on the council to not make that presentation, to go ahead and recognize the fact that we do have diversity in the city, and whether the term had been wetback or any other term that's derogatory for any other race, it's not going to be tolerated by this council. Now, one of our speakers talked about how she wouldn't mention the particular word because she wouldn't tolerate it. Well, we wouldn't tolerate it either. And that's the reason why we did not endorse that presentation. But let's make things clear. Councilmember Benavides was asked by his colleagues to not go there. He was asked several times by many of them, and was advised that, in fact, he was going to open up the door to the mess that we have here today, to the mess that we had 2 weeks ago. He was also told that the members of this council will not support that particular recognition, if you will, and lo and behold, recognition disappeared. I invite you to look at that particular agenda 2 weeks before the one presentation was made. It disappeared. Then he railroaded his way back, manipulated staff members by lying, telling them he had support from his colleagues to put an item on the agenda when we don't have council presentations.
I want to make a correction. I did not.
You know what,
lie.
David? I could have interrupted you.
I did not
and
lie.
I didn't.
I did not lie.
You need to let Claudia Alvarez speak.
Well, when there's something
one
needs
at
to
a
be
time, we'll
corrected,
come
it
back.
needs to be corrected.
One at a time. We'll come back.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Point of order. You guys are using names to call
Please.
other names, and you didn't allow me to speak and say a person's
Please,
name.
please.
How can you say names and I can't?
Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Pulido. Councilmember Benavides, I didn't interrupt your comments. I appreciate the courtesy. When we came back, and I invite you to look at any of the agendas on the second meeting of the month. We do not make council presentations on the second meeting, but somehow that happened over council policy that was set at a retreat at a public meeting when Councilmember Benavides agreed to that policy. But not when it comes to recognizing minutemen like Lupe Moreno. One thing he actually did not do that was not public, that he secreted, were certificates to the minutemen, including one to Lupe Moreno. Why have we not heard that? Why is it a secret that, in fact, a certificate was sent to her? Did you not have the courage to bring her here? Or is your courage limited, Mr. Benavides? That being said, there was also a speaker that talked about how the mayor had appointed Ms. Moreno, and now Councilmember Benavides is saying that I supported this woman. Well, lo and behold, if anything, it shows you that she was given an opportunity to participate and become a member of this community and be part of the city, the very much city that we all loved. And she blew that opportunity by becoming the hate-filled woman that she is today. That being said, I wish everyone a good night.
So with that,
I would like to
real
make
brief, please.
Yes,
Go ahead,
make
real
couple
brief.
Of, just briefly, a couple of corrections. One is something that I may have said. I don't think that I want to correct. I don't think that simply because you speak to somebody or you have a cordial communication or contact with somebody that you necessarily embrace or their perspective. I think we're healthier for being able to have diverse dialogue with people with different perspectives and points of view. But something that I did want to correct that was mentioned here, I was accused of having lied to our staff by saying that there was council support for this recognition. One is, it's never been a policy to have support of everyone to do recognition. The other is, what I did communicate to our staff is that I had spoken to several members of the council that felt comfortable with moving forward with the recognition if the names of the people on the removed. So that is something that had been communicated to me, and apparently anyway, things were a bit different, but
Can you keep it short,
yes, okay.
Councilmember?
The last thing is, bottom line is, folks came and put an event together that was for our community. It was a good thing. I still feel that it was the right thing to recognize those folks who did participate to do that. Last thing that I think we can all agree upon is Census 2010, that wrapped up. I just got recent information that apparently we have some of the lowest numbers in Santa Ana, and I just want to encourage folks to, as folks come to your door or make phone calls asking for you for information on to complete the Census 2010, I encourage you to please respond. If we don't have the responses, then that means less funds coming to our city, and I hope that we'll be able to.
Councilmember, it's just that on the time, I want to be fair and allow everybody about the same period of time. We've all spoken now, and I didn't get my 3 minutes. You got a little bit more. I want to find out, do other council members want additional time? If not, I'll adjourn the meeting. And
I do, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead.
What I wanted to use my 3 minutes on was to invite Chief Walters to come tell me about the event tomorrow.
Go ahead, use your 3 minutes on what you want to do.
Chief Walters, could you please tell us about the great event we're having in the city of Santa Ana tomorrow regarding public safety and keeping our kids safe?